Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we are going to review a figure from a company I've never reviewed before, and I've actually never even owned one of their figures until now. I just ordered one because when I saw the promotional pictures for this guy, I've been thinking about ordering him for a while now, and I kept seeing the promotional pictures for him when people were trying to sell him on eBay and stuff, and I did see him on Everything Dinosaur, and I always thought that he looked absolutely awesome. So I finally got around to ordering him, and it is this. This is the Bullyland Stegosaurus. And honestly, looking at it just straight off the bat, it is probably the most beautiful Stegosaurus when it comes to these smaller, more mainstream dinosaur models that I've ever seen. I mean, obviously, dinosaur statues like the sideshow version are probably a little nicer, but this thing is just off the charts awesome in my opinion. It is truly beautiful, and I have just two probably very small complaints about it, and other than that, honestly, I think it's just absolutely awesome. Just beautiful. Beautiful beyond belief. I don't know why I've never really ordered a Bullyland figure before. I saw some pictures of a few different ones, and I didn't really like them, I think. That's probably the reason. They just didn't look really that great to me, in my opinion. Except for this Stegosaurus, for some reason. He just looks like he is just leaps and bounds better than everything else that I've seen from Bullyland. Now, that's not to say that Bullyland doesn't have other awesome figures, because I just probably haven't seen them. I haven't seen too many of Bullyland's figures at all in the past. It's just a company I never really bothered to research too much. I've recently started to look around a little bit for them after seeing this Stegosaurus, and they do seem to have a few figures now that I'm actually taking notice to that don't look too bad, so I may get a few more in the future, but for now I only have this Stegosaurus. So let's take a closer look at it. Starting up here at the head, you can see that the head is nice and small like a Stegosaurus head should be, and it's quite nicely detailed. It's not overly detailed, but it's pretty nicely detailed, but it's also very small. It's a pretty small head, so there's not too much you can do as far as the detail. The actual beak on it is I'm not so sure I really like the bright grayish. Well, it's more like a light gray, but compared to the rest of the body, it's pretty bright. But that little grayish color, and they didn't really put too much as far as any detail at all on the actual beak. But, I mean, overall, it's not the end of the world with that. It doesn't look terrible, it just could have been a little better. But here are actually my only two complaints about this whole figure. They're both here on the face, and the actual, the coloration of the beak isn't one of them. My issues are the eyes, for one thing, are painted so insanely badly. They are just super sloppy. They gave them a nice little yellow background, but then when they went to give them the pupil, they pretty much just slopped black paint all over the eye, and it's really sad because the entire paint job on the rest of the figure, aside from this one other spot that I'm going to mention, I think is phenomenal. I really love it. I think it's just beyond beautiful. But those eyes are just garbage. I don't know how eyes that get painted like that could even pass quality control, because they just look terrible. But the only other complaint that I honestly have with this figure is the inside of the mouth being a super bright red. It's not really painted too well, and the bright red is just not a realistic color in my opinion. So if they had changed the inside color of the mouth and the eyes to actually paint them in a nice fashion and give them decent pupils instead of just a whole bunch of splotchy black paint, I think that this thing would have been just a 10 out of 10 figure, but that messes it up a little bit. But other than that, if you go back the neck here, you can see some beautiful detail all over the place has been sculpted out. It really looks very nice. Nice paintwork as well. They have a dark green on the body, and then they've lightly dry brushed some lighter greens all over it, so it really makes some of the detail stand out. And then of course these black stripes that run down the length of the animal, you can see start to appear here on the neck. You can see that the spikes on the back here are a beautiful red color. It's like a red-orange type of a color with a black outline around the edges, and I think that coloration on the plates on the back here just look phenomenal. It really makes them stand out, and it really meshes with the green so well. I think it just gives it such a beautiful look to it. Going back here into the front leg here, you can see again some beautiful sculpt work all over the place. It's got some nice bumps all over the place here, and very nicely carved out skin folds here above the shoulder area. And then going down into the leg, you can see some nice muscle tone here on the front leg, as this leg is up in the air, it's taking a step. You can see the feet are also sculpted very, very nicely. They look beautiful as well. Nicely carved out toenails, and the detail all over the feet look beautiful. Going up here into the stomach, you can see again, very, very nicely sculpted details. Some nice little skin folds here in the lower abdomen area, right connecting between the two legs. And then you can just see the little bumps and crevices all over the place on the stomach area and to the upper back area here of the dinosaur. It's really beautiful the way this thing has been sculpted, and the paint on it just makes it look so striking. Some very nice skin folds here on the hip and the back leg, and then you can also see some beautiful muscle tone as well going down here onto the bottom of the leg. Again, beautiful feet sculpted here, and the toenails have been painted a nice grayish color, but they do look pretty good. And then coming up here into the tail, you can see some more nice sculpt work again, and some skin folds here a little bit right here as the back leg connects to the tail, and then it runs out to this beautiful, very long tail with these spikes here on the end that I believe have also been painted really nicely. They've toned them up a little bit to give them a nice appearance. Looking at the other side, it's pretty much the same as that other side that we just looked at, but you can see that with the back leg here, the skin has been stretched, so there's not so much in the way of skin folds. You can't see too many, which was a nice touch to switch that up, as the dinosaur, like I said, his leg is stretched back, so you wouldn't see as many here. But you can see that the detail all over the place is just beautiful on both sides. There are some skin folds above both of the shoulder and the hip area, and then the little bumps and cracks and crevices. Sculpt work all over the place, absolutely fantastic. So overall, both sides look beautiful. Again, give you another shot here of the spikes. The spikes, like I said, look like they've been sculpted really nicely. I think they look beautiful, and if we look at these plates, as I said before, are just so beautiful and so striking on the back. This red orangish color just really, really, really makes them stand out, and I think that's one of the big things that drew me to this figure, was the way that the plates looked. They're just so beautifully done. And then the underside is a very, very light color, and it looks very good the way they've applied that in there as well. Some beautiful tones put in here and there. So overall, I think that the paint job on this dinosaur is fantastic. Aside from those eyes, if they would have fixed the eyes in the mouth, it would have been a surefire 10 out of 10. So my very first Bullyland figure, and I must say that I am thoroughly impressed as far as the sculpt work goes and the overall detail and the paint. Aside from, like I said, the eyes, which are just god awful, and the mouth and that little beak, I guess, could have been painted a more realistic color and maybe given a little bit more detail. But aside from that, you take a step back, you won't really notice those things, and the overall appearance of this Stegosaurus is just fantastic, off the charts fantastic. In my opinion, I truly, truly love this thing, and as soon as I got it, it honestly quickly became my favorite Stegosaurus that I have. I never was able to get the sideshow version when they released their Stegosaurus with an infant, so in my opinion, this is probably the best Stegosaurus that I have, just because it's so beautiful and so striking. I may end up repainting the eyes. I always have this big issue where when I buy dinosaur figures, I don't like to switch them around. I really like to keep them as original as possible. I don't like adding anything to them or trying to fix issues unless it's something that's like a paint chip that's been taken off. I might try to fix it up just so it doesn't look so bad, but those eyes are just so terrible and they almost ruin the figure for me. And yeah, that's just something I may end up fixing, because I feel like with better eyes, this thing would just look incredible no matter what. Now, the overall size of this Stegosaurus, you're looking at about 10 inches long and about 5 inches high, probably at the highest plate. So yeah, about 5 inches high. So it's a very decent size. It's not a small figure at all. It's definitely a good size. To give you a size comparison of just how nice it is, here is the Papo T-Rex right there, and there's Mr. Stegosaurus right beside him. So you can see that the Papo T-Rex is significantly larger, but as I said, for a Stegosaurus figure, it's definitely a good size, not a small figure at all. I really, really think it's a beautiful size, pretty much a perfect size for a Stegosaurus. So my overall opinions on Bullyland are that they must have some pretty good potential, and I may end up looking into their figures a little more now that I've actually purchased one. I ordered this guy from Dejankins, and it's actually the very first time I've ever ordered from there. I've suggested that you guys go there numerous times to order your dinosaur figures, because I have heard good things about them so many times, but I had never actually ordered from there until I ordered this guy, and I must say that they are fantastic. I ordered this and it was within maybe 2 days it came to my house. It was very, very fast, so, and it was packaged really well. So definitely, if you want to order this guy, head to Dejankins or Everything Dinosaur, because I do believe they have it in stock as well. But Dejankins, like I said, they got it to me super fast, so definitely a great website when it comes to ordering dinosaur figures. So if I were to put this guy on a scale of 1 to 10, and I were to rate him, I would say he's probably like a 7 out of 10. And it's only because of the eyes and the inside of the mouth and that little beak coloration there and the lack of detail in the beak are the only issues. So literally, if you just fixed the head, everything else would be beautiful in my opinion. So I give this guy about a 7 out of 10. So definitely a good job by Bullyland. I really love this Stegosaurus. Like I said, it is just beautifully painted, and the entire color scheme they went with is so nice. So I will link you guys in the description as to where you can purchase this guy. And please like, comment, and subscribe, and I may have more Bullyland in the future. Thanks for watching.